So I mentioned the quality of the absolute unity, the undivided oneness of the absolute. And there's just a level of intimacy about it where the absolute is this interesting uh, being. It's I don't want to call it a living being exactly, but its beingness is really fascinating. It doesn't work in the normal ways that we're used to. There's no cause and effect. There's a kind of generative way that the absolute takes in information from direct contact and then synthesizes that understanding, that knowing that comes from that contact. So the unity aspect of the absolute is really important. It's a component of awakening, but it's also a time of understanding that our normal perception of I'm this separate individual self, this being, this body, separate from everybody else or all other beings and living things, is the way that most of us orient, the average person orients. And as we deepen our meditation practice, our spiritual journey, we get more and more in touch with the universality of our identity and being. And although we can still see that we're this unique expression of the absolute, it's more like we begin to understand that we're a wave on the ocean rather than a complete separate entity disconnected from the source. We're an exact expression of the absolute. So this unity quality, it is a default of the universe, of the absolute. The unity is in everything that we can perceive. And even though we can say, I'm differentiated from that tree over there, there's still there's a oneness, a unity of beingness, of being. The old Zen masters had a great expression for this unity. Now you'd expect them to say that it was not two, because it's not, we're really working on seeing the tangibleness of separation, that yes, there's a physicality. If I stub my toe, your toe doesn't hurt. But there is still a unity. There's still a oneness that's functioning, a sameness that's functioning in all of us at this time. And so the Zen masters would call it, the Chan masters would call it not two, not one. They would say this expression because when we say not two, our minds fairly quickly go to the conclusion, okay, if it's not two, then it's a oneness. It's a unity. I get it. It all comes to one. And so the old Chan masters would take away the one as well. So it's not two and it's not one. So what is it? It's unity without a differentiation or label of oneness or two-ness. So this puts us into the felt sense of unity and oneness rather than the conceptual understanding of unity and oneness.